Turkish military and the Free Syrian Army have entered Afrin town centre. This signifies a huge defeat for the YPG. Before Afrin town centre was taken, the military said 70% of Afrin was now YPG free. Now they've been pushed out. They've been pushed out of Afrin town centre in a massive victory. 58 days. 58 days after Operation Olive Branch began, the YPG are now out of Afrin town.
Let's speak live now to Assad, who is just outside the town centre. Assad, from where you are, what can you see?
Well, what we can see, there's still some smoke rising from Afrin, and we can hear gunfire, but that's probably celebratory gunfire, as you saw in that clip there. Now, you know, the FSA and the Turkish military entered this morning, 58 days after Operation Olive Branch began. There were jubilant scenes. In the last week, the Turkish military had said that they had Afrin town cornered off from the north, east, and west. They had left the south open as a humanitarian corridor to allow civilians to leave. Now, it seems like it was not only civilians that escaped from that corridor, but also the YPG. But as I said, this is a very significant and symbolic victory. Now, the town centre has been taken, Afrin town centre is now, and Afrin town is YPG free. Before they had taken this, the Turkish military said that they controlled 70% of Afrin. That 70% of Afrin was YPG free. They had taken villages and strategic points. But this victory has come at a cost. There's 47 Turkish soldiers that lost their lives and 159 FSA fighters. But the Turkish military say that they've neutralised. The Turkish military say they've neutralised over 3,500 YPG terrorists.
How did the FSA enter the town, Assad? Were they fully prepared for a confrontation with the YPG, or did they already have intelligence that the terrorists had left?
Well, there was always a confrontation taking place, but thanks to the Turkish military, there's been a lot of intelligence, there's been drones flying. They've really worked very hard on this operation, and the Turkish military said that they were taking utmost care to make sure no civilians came to harm. And as the FSA went in, I think they faced very little resistance, because the YPG had figured out that, look, this was a losing battle, and they had mainly escaped from Afrin town. When I got in there, there are some damaged buildings, but generally the town centre seems relatively intact, which is surprising, especially when you see images from what happened in Mosul and Raqqa. And I think that's because the Turkish military took utmost care to make sure no civilians were harmed. They dropped leaflets warning civilians to leave, and they also sent out radio broadcasts asking civilians to leave. And in fact, we came across civilians leaving in the last day or two, escaping from Afrin.
Well, we know, Assad, do we not, that the YPG had mined certain areas around Afrin? President Erdogan, just when he's been speaking in the past hour, has talked about the tunnels that the group built because they've been there for some time. They were well established. How does the FSA now go about making sure that Afrin is completely secure for civilians?
Well, it will take some time. You're right, there have been areas that have been mined, there's tunnels, they have to go through meticulously through Afrin town to make sure that it's safe. And obviously they have the support and the backing of the Turkish military. This morning, when I was with some FSA fighters, some of them had metal detectors to check if there were any mines on the road. They also had like a big truck that kind of sweep the floor to make sure it was clear for the FSA fighters to go forward. And these are the kind of precautions that they're having to take, because look, the YPG have been here for a number of years. They're backed, supported and trained by the US, and they've put in plans to make this as difficult as possible for the Free Syrian Army and the Turkish military. So the clearing operation could take some time before it's safe enough for civilians to return.